Hi, I'm Jessie Buckley, and this week I'm reviewing Now before we start off, as always, I just want to take a quick second to remind you guys to make sure you hit that like button if you liked today's video, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well for more new movie-related content weekly. But without further ado, let's jump into today's film. I'm Thinking of Ending Things was written and directed by Charlie Kaufman, and it's based off of the book of the same name written by Ian Reid. The film revolves around a young woman who, contemplating ending her relationship with her boyfriend, decides to go on a trip with him one evening to visit his parents. Over the course of the night, though, strange things begin to occur. And that's really all I can say. I mean, not even the film's trailer does it any justice, and if I'm being very honest, I'm still kind of trying to process the film. I don't know if it was insane, or brilliant, or both. Now, Charlie Kaufman is a very rare director in the sense that all of his films are incredibly abstract and no two projects are the same, and this one is especially different from all of his previous work because it's based off of somebody else's work. As I mentioned before, it's based on a novel, but not just any novel. It's based on a psychological thriller and horror novel. But the film is never thrilling or horrific, yet it's still very effective and thought-provoking. It's as meditative as it is meticulous. There isn't a single word or shot that's given that isn't important, and that's what I admired the most. Throughout the film, we're constantly told and shown things that are absolutely important, except not for the reasons we think they are. In fact, it isn't until the very last shot after the credits that we're finally able to make sense of everything, or at least we're given all the information we need to try to make sense of everything. From scene to scene, and sometimes even shot to shot, the setting changes, makeup changes, clothes change, and it's all done so perfectly and seamlessly that you will not be able to notice, trust me. There were a bunch of times in this film that I had to go back, thank God for streaming, just to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and I'm still pretty sure I missed a bunch of stuff. And that's something I will say about this film, is that whether you like it or not, I highly recommend that you go back and rewatch it. It requires at least one rewatch, because there are absolutely so many things that you won't be able to pick up on the first time around. For instance, our main character doesn't even have a name, and that didn't occur to me till the third act. In fact, of all the characters in this film, I can only recall 2 that have definitive names, and that's done for a reason. Speaking of characters, though, this cast is superb. Jessie Buckley especially. Last year I saw her in this little film called Wild Rose, and she blew me away in that. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go check it out. But ever since then, I've been itching to see her do something a little bit more mainstream, and I mean, this is on Netflix, so with everything going on, this is probably as mainstream as you can get. And she does the same thing here. She blew me away in this. The role isn't too physically demanding, but it is very verbally demanding. She has these really extensive monologues, both internally and externally, and she handles them almost effortlessly. Jesse Plemons, on the other hand, and I just realized that both of our lead actors have the same exact name. I'm on to you, Kaufman. He does a really good job here, too. My only problem with his performance, though, is that it's kind of similar to what he did on Breaking Bad. If you know, you know. And hopefully I'm not spoiling anything. I don't think I'm spoiling anything. In fact, I think it's possible that he might have even been cast in this role because of his performance on Breaking Bad. Nevertheless, it works. Toni Collette is, as always, the queen of versatility that just deserves all the Oscars. She plays Plemons' character's mother, and what I really liked about her character was that you get to see her at various stages of her life, and she plays her character at various stages of her life. And in doing so, it's almost like she's playing a different person every time. You would think that she's had experience playing a whole bunch of different people all at once. It's incredible. The versatility, once again. But in all seriousness, though, I really do think that she nails it. David Thewlis is also in the film. He plays Plemons' character's father. While he is also really good, I found his performance to be the weakest of the bunch. But that's not really saying anything bad. Like I said before, everybody was great in this film. So technically, his performance was just the weakest great performance. Now, starting to get into some of the film's cons, I actually only had one problem with it. And I say this hesitantly because, as I mentioned before, I do plan on going back to rewatch it, and I still am kind of processing it. But if I'm being honest, there was one thing that I feel really hurt this film for me. And I do feel like other people who have seen it will agree with me. And I kind of touched on this before, indirectly. There is a lot of talking in this film. Like, a lot of talking. And I know that I also said before that everything that is shown and said to us is extremely important. But there are also some really long conversations and monologues here that after a while, even though you're able to kind of get the gist of what's being said, it's really hard to follow. Now, I'm not saying that at any point I got bored, but I am saying that after a while, things started to become a little dense. But truthfully, that's the only real negative thing I have to say about this film. While this anatomy of a relationship is mostly melancholy, though, there's no denying it's unlike anything else you'll see this year. An odd odyssey in its own right, it's yet another Kaufman classic. And for that, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars.
Maybe this is how it was always going to end.
Guys, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to view this video. It really does mean the world to me. And once again, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well for more new movie-related content weekly. Now, if you happen to see this movie, if you loved it, if you hated it, let me know what you thought about it down below. Let me know your theories. What do you think it's about? What do you think it all means? How many times have you rewatched it, if you have rewatched it? Do you think there's a lot of talking? Am I the only one? I hope not. I certainly don't believe I am. But yeah, I look forward to reading and responding to all of your comments. And yeah, that's pretty much all the time that I have for you guys today, actually. I do have some more content that you should be very excited for in the next couple of weeks. I'm very excited to share it. So in the meantime, I should probably get back to work. Until next time, I'm Dempsey Collette. Take care.